What is up, everybody? It is I, Oda Experto. Hello, we're back. We're doing a guide video today. So, before I get into Gowther's guide video, I will want to preface that I will not be making one for mono because I don't own the character. So it's kind of like, how can I make a guide video on a character I don't understand, kind of thing. But if you want to lend me your account, if you have a mono, I will be more than welcome to take that for video purposes. And then like play with mono, see what I need to know, and then put out information on her. 1 second. So either way, mono's gonna have to be either delayed or it just won't happen. But we will be doing the grand guide for Hijack Gowther LR. So, is he worth the LR? Let's get that out of the way first. Yes, he is 100% worth the LR, mainly because just really good in PvP. Like, he is literally the #1 team in PvP right now is the Sin team because of this Gowther. He single-handedly brought back the Sins. Because, like, Blue Bond is good, but Blue Bond didn't make the Sin team #1. Blue Bond made the human team #1. If you don't know, that Sung Jinwoo Darkness Bond comp, ridiculous. Ridiculous levels of broken. So, even though Bond is really good for Sins, that's not his best team. Gowther, on the other hand, he is the nail that brung the Sins together. I'm gonna be so real. And then if you have Blue Bond as well, that yeah, your Sin team is gonna be hitting like a goddamn Mack truck and tanking like a goddamn tank. So he did a lot for his team. So realistically, he is definitely a must LR for PvP at this moment. But at the same time though, right? I would say he is worth it for more than just PvP. That's not true. I'm fucking lying. He's not useful in PvE at all. Granted, he can be ran in Bird because that is the OG comp. So if you want to run LR Gowther in Bird, you can. That is a thing that did exist, and it probably still exists now. And it's probably even better now since Bird is nerfed and LR Gowther is buffed. So, if anything, you can run this and have even better results than when he was part of the quote-unquote meta Rasvelger team. Will he do floor 4? Probably not, but it is something to keep in mind. He can also run things along the lines of Skull and Hottie and Deer. He's not doing Need Hugger or Tatasker though, so he's not a true PvE character. Because, genuinely speaking, his cards aren't that crazy. Like, this is a good card now because it removes buffs and it like lowers ult gauge and stuff like that, and then attack disables with LR. And it works in all content, but you gotta remember, the best thing about, not even the best, the worst thing about PvE and Grand Cross is that every enemy in PvE is immune to debuff. So anytime you see a character with a debuff card, you should automatically assume he's gonna be low-key worse than your optimal characters for PvE. Cause like his entire thing is the attack disable, he can disable rank 2s, he can ult drain, which is good, and he can remove buffs. The remove buff is really good. Like, you can use him and cheese out some stuff on Deer and Bird easily, but anything else on his kit, it just won't work. And then the ult that deletes cards, it does cheese. So if you don't know, it also works in PvP as well. But if you didn't know, if you ult with this Gowther at 6'6", or you know, you beat the odds, but it's relatively better that you have him 6'6", because at 6'6" he deletes your entire hand and not just a few select cards. But if you have him at 6'6" and you ult with him when the character has their ultimate in hand, if you delete the ultimate, you delete their ult gauge, which is really, really good about that ultimate. And that's why he is like super niche in PvP. Not PvP, Jesus. He's super niche in PvE. And so you can get use out of him, but he's just not the optimal choice. Especially since he only works on Unknowns and Sins. Sins as a team are also not the optimal choice for PvE. Unknowns are cool, but it's more or less like if you want to run him or not. You don't have to, because right now the Ragnaroks and the OCs are kind of carrying PvE on their back right now. So, and Gowther's not a Ragnarok. He is an unknown, so he can work, but he's not a Ragnarok, right? So you're limited on your choices of character there when it comes to him in PvE. So for PvP, he's definitely a all-around good character. He is the best support character for the Sins. If you do not have him, I do recommend making him. For PvE though, he's not going to be doing much. He's gonna, if you want to run him, you can, but you shouldn't because he's not that great for PvE. Now when it comes to his gear is very straightforward. I'm gonna be so honest. The gear is the straightforwardest thing of all time. Don't look at my gear though. My gear is outdated because again, this is an old character. He just got LR literally. So this gear that I have on him is outdated. I have attack crit. Reason I have attack crit though is not because he's a DPS character, it's because I have literally 2 other HP defense sets. 3 actually. So if I want to, I can make it HP defense. But I needed an attack crit set somewhere on one of the Gowthers, and I just chose Hijack Gowther. Because I do enjoy his Pulverize card, because it can do good damage if you get it to max ult gauge. And then his Holy Relic gives him a 25% attack rate stats. So he can do good damage at max ult gauge, like really good damage. He could probably one-shot like Bird and stuff like that. And that's why I gave him attack crit. But I don't recommend it. I don't recommend attack crit at all. I recommend you go with HP defense instead, obviously, because he's a support character through and through, and he's also a sub-slot character through and through. So, realistically, give him HP defense, and only give him attack crit if you plan on using him in PvE. And even, and even at that point, I wouldn't even recommend it. So, just give him HP defense, just like all the other Gowthers. You're probably better off in both scenarios, to be honest. I'm just too lazy to change his gear set, I'm gonna be real. I'll probably close them out and then make an HP defense set, or just make it again, I don't know. We'll see. That's just my personal preference though. So literally other than that, I mean, Gowther is one of those really straightforward characters, so the guide for him isn't gonna be that crazy, because usually the guides last a little longer, since if they're usable in PvE, there's a lot more to talk about for PvE activities. But genuinely speaking, this LR Gowther is a PvP character through and through, with slight PvE usage, and then even still, it's not that optimal. So that's literally it for him. Should you get him LR? If you play PvP, yes, but otherwise, you don't need him LR, but you probably still want him LR because he's just a really cool character. And that about sums up the Gowther Grand Guide. Genuinely, there's nothing really to talk about. He is worth He is a worth it character for sure, but it's just not worth it if you don't play PvP, you know. But I will say, as an LR, he is probably in like the top 3, top 4 most necessary LRs. But that's not saying much, bro. Most of the LRs in the game are pretty shot or terrible, except for 2, which is Cusack and Liz. Everyone else is fodder. So at the very least, I wouldn't say Gowther is fodder, because he is the camel that's carrying the 7 Deadly Sins team right now in PvP. And if you go first with the Sin team, you just win. So yeah, I'm gonna just leave that one there, and that's gonna be the Grand Guide, because there's literally nothing else to really say on this character. So like, comment, and subscribe, and remember, again, if you have a mono that I can borrow for a video, I will make the Grand Guide video, because I'm not summoning on that character. So GG's Nori, but till then, I'll see you when you see you, buh. LR Gowther, the goat sin of lust is back, baby, and it's like he never left.